and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz, guys. Welcome to episode 127. 127. If this is your first time joining us for the Untapped Podcast, first of all, thank you. We are thrilled to have you here with us. We've actually got 5 main formats of our show. First, we have Forging Fortitude episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the mental side of our brand. We go over our anecdotal experiences with things like mindset and mentality, and we then give on tips and advice to you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, we have Physical Vitality episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the physical side of our brand. This is where we really get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. So in those episodes, we cover everything to do with the gym, nutrition, diets, workouts, fitness programs like 75 Hard, supplements, Untapped training, which is going very, very well. If you guys are interested in that or have any questions regarding our training, please reach out to us. We would love to help you out. And sometimes we will also take trending topics or articles within the fitness industry and give our thoughts and opinions on those. Those episodes, guys, are full of free games, so make sure you pay attention to those.
Let's go, dude. So good to be back. Let's go. So, guys, we are moving on to our third format now. That is our breaking news format. That's what we have for you today. Now, that one, similar to how Wurtz was talking about with the physical vitality, we talked about trends, current events going on within the fitness industry. This is for current events of the world. You know, you think about things like the Ukraine war, probably when you hear current events and whatnot. We touch on articles. We do not doom and gloom like you hear a lot of podcasts do on that. We offer solutions on those podcasts because we actually want to direct the country back in the right direction through partly through our content as well. Yeah. Now, our fourth format is our masculinity format, which is our Knights Table. That's what it's called. Sweet name. Now, keep in mind, I'm 25, Wurtz is 25, Mitchell's 23. Because of that, we're not coming to you on a masculinity episode saying that we're the perfect men all put together, because we never will be. The only perfect man ever is Jesus Christ. We touch on, in those episodes, anything from toxic masculinity, what it is, if it's real, fatherhood, how important it is, how important men are to the world in general, and male-based topics. Now, our fifth format is our guest format. The guest format is when we sit down with somebody that is an entrepreneur, fitness professional, athlete, doctor, somebody with a great story, basically somebody who brings you guys value when you listen to us here. Now, a lot of times we're friends with these guys or we know them pretty well, so we are coming to learn a lot as well because we end up learning like 50 other things about these guys that we do know. Now you will learn a lot from these episodes. They're a ton of fun content to bring. We'll have some guests coming up here soon. Mm-hmm. Guys, our final thing to introduce is our producer and my brother, Mitchell Gabel.
Hey, what's going on?
Money Mitch.
That's me.
Back with us for the entire episode.
The entirety of it.
It's amazing.
That's pretty
as long
awesome.
as I don't get called.
You're not going to get called. I made sure of that.
Okay.
Sure. I
Sounds
took care
good.
of that.
Yeah.
I took care of it.
We talked to the guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at the top. Yeah.
Yep. Nope. No worries. You
The
are
top.
protected.
Yeah.
You are protected.
Who's the top?
You, don't worry about it. That's on a need to know basis, and you do not need to know.
It's a small club, and we're not part of it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, you're not a part of it.
Okay.
You're not.
My fault.
Just to be clear. He's got a squeaky ass chair over there too. I don't know if you heard that.
Oh yeah.
The whole intro.
Yeah.
Dude,
It actually
squeaking.
is a nice chair. It's just he needs to oil that thing up.
It's because I weigh too much. Weight limit's 300.
It's just a chunko over there.
It's 300.
Just a thick boss over there.
Like that picture I sent of me the other day.
It's like that ride at Six Flags, Mitch. That's the bonsai pipeline. That's 300 pounds is the weight limit for that.
Oh, and you know people over 300 pounds go on those things all the time.
I've seen people in front of me get on that are way over 300 pounds. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess you're going to die, buddy.
Oh, man. Sorry, Will. Is he 300 pounds? Probably not.
Oh, gosh. He's what, 260, probably 270, I think.
That's Brad Martin.
Yeah.
He's 260.
Yeah, apparently he lost to Logan Paul in a fight. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I did
Yeah,
not
apparently
see
Logan whooped him.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, like big time.
But hey, we were actually kind of talking about that type of thing before the podcast.
Yeah.
Just people that maybe are smaller than you, but if they have that training, like fighting training, MMA, any kind of MMA,
100%.
they're going to win over a guy that looks like Brad Martin.
Yep. Now, a guy that, lightly trains MMA or some form of martial art that's 150 pounds is probably still going to get whooped by a guy who's Brad's size 260.
Yes, I would hope so. Anyway.
Now, and I'm saying an athletic 260 guy because I've met plenty of guys who are 250, big bodybuilders who are not athletic.
Sure.
They can't move. But for the most part, like weight classes
like
are
Connor.
real for a thing. Oh, man. Sorry, Connor. Please keep listening to the podcast.
I miss that dude.
Oh, I miss the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he's awesome. But yeah, I mean, like that's true. There's a weird thing where every dude we think we can fight to a certain degree. And when Mitch and I were doing jiu-jitsu, you found out real quick that's not the case. like most dudes can't fight, and that goes for 99.999% of the population. And it's humbling to do a martial art. Yeah. Oh yeah, and like I mean, again, when I was doing jiu-jitsu, I was 230.
Yeah.
And I was getting murdered by guys who are 180.
Yeah.
It's like that. So, it's that's why I always recommend it, because it's such a humbling experience. But you're right. Like, there are weight classes for a reason, but at the same time, if somebody that's 185 trains pretty consistently, you're going to get whooped if you're just a big bodybuilder and that's it.
Yeah.
So, random topic.
But, yeah, right, right. Anyway, guys, we are not talking about MMA tonight.
As much as we want to.
Right.
Because
our boy Evan Elder, who he is fighting on the UFC card. Well, when you guys are hearing this past weekend, let's see, what is that? The
July 13th. Yep.
The 13th he fought, hopefully a W. But we got to see him fight in the Shamrock FC at the Ameristar Casino here in St. Charles, Missouri.
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
Got to meet him. He actually has one of our old extrication shirts. Pretty cool. But anyway, guys, we have a breaking news episode for you tonight. We thought that this fit best out of our main formats. We're going to kind of talk about the difference between big and small businesses and why you should support small businesses.
Absolutely.
We, those of you that have been listening to us for a long time, you know that we are big advocates of small businesses and local businesses specifically, local to you. Whether that's, produce, groceries, things like that, or if it's clothing or supplements, obviously First Form is here in St. Louis. We talk about them all the time. Same with supplement superstores. Or if it's, even clothing or quilts, things like that, what else? What am I missing there?
Restaurants.
The food
industry in general.
That's a great one.
Because St. Louis is great with both restaurants and breweries.
For sure.
Like we have
breweries,
phenomenal restaurants and breweries here in St. Louis, and it's a big blessing.
Yeah.
And that's probably the easiest way for a lot of people to make a point of supporting small business is through the restaurant industry.
Yeah. No, that's a great point.
And by the way, small business restaurants are better than chains anyway.
They're so good.
By far.
Like literally so good.
It's not even close.
No, it's not. It's not. And we did plan on talking about small business first. So, kind of on that note with the restaurants and all the different types of shops, go to Washington, Missouri. Just about everything out there, for the most part, if it's not fast food, is local and small. Whether that's car care, things like that.
Yeah.
Farm equipment and things like that, especially in a town like that, as you get more rural into Missouri, or just any other kind of like household items, furniture, any kind of furnishings for the inside of your house. Like a lot of that can be locally made or locally sold at least. But that's the actual backbone of the country. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Are they convenient or as convenient as an Amazon or a Walmart or whatever else? No.
Nope.
No. Are they going to be more expensive than those places? Probably. Not always, but probably. Mm-hmm. But is the quality going to be better? Yes. More often than not, yes. Mm-hmm. Is the customer service going to be better?
Right.
More often than not, yes. Is the relationship that you might build with the owners or the employees of that place going to be better? More often than not, yes. 100%.
1,000%.
Especially on that one.
That's the thing. The relationship one's the number one.
Yeah.
Because you're going if you go to the right businesses that are local, you're going to go to ones that are good. That's for sure. The customer service is going to be there. The product should be there, that type of stuff, of course. The relationship was really separates it, because you actually get to know the guy working on your car. Mm-hmm. Seriously, we've been going to the same auto body shop, Mitch and I, for, I don't know, like 10, 15 years now at least, or something like that.
Same with us.
Yeah, 100%. I've been out to that one.
Except, not even that one in Washington that you're talking about. My uncle does work at that one, but we have another one just up here in Wildwood that we go to a lot as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
You've told me. Yeah. No. But so that relationship aspect is huge though, because a lot of people think, if you live in a city, you might get less of the relationship, and there might be some truth to that compared to like a rural community that might be more tight knit or close knit in general. But I would say a good example in St. Louis is like the Hill. I work at the Hill in personal space fitness, and the local businesses down there run the entire neighborhood of the Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, the restaurants, the obviously the physical fitness aspect that I work through and whatnot, that runs the community down there by far. And everybody is so nice that works in all those stores down there, whether it's Shaw's Coffee, the stores down there, Charlie Guido's. I haven't been there. I've heard it's phenomenal though. All those type of places, the people are unbelievable in those. So that's really what you're going to get. You're going to be able to go in there if you go in there consistently enough and know these people.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, hey, Jacob. And it's like, whoa, that feels really good.
Right.
You know, if you just click buy on Amazon, a package from that and whatnot, there's not really, there's no relationship there.
No.
There's not even a thank you card coming your way.
No.
That's for damn sure.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because again, you might be getting it from a robot line.
Right.
Or like what do you call it, a factory line and whatnot, and that's it, and not an actual human. So, yeah, I think small business is such it's not a purposely forgot about thing for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't say people just avoid small business purposely, if that makes sense. I think they just nowadays convenience is so easy, and that's the easy choice to make in a lot of ways.
It's because of these phones.
Exactly.
Everything we could possibly want is right here in the palm of our hand.
It started with the first smartphones and whatnot, and it kind of trickled down from there because everything got easier with smartphones and whatnot. Now, life was getting easier in the U.S. as it was at that point in time, of course, but smartphones enhanced it a lot. And I think it's really important because we talk about making difficult decisions in life in general, you know, like almost going the route of suffering that's going to push you forward that way. Mm-hmm. This is one of those decisions that can be that way.
Yeah.
Choosing, if you're going to go out to eat, to go to a local restaurant might be a lot more difficult than, you know, going through the drive-through of a fast food restaurant or something like that, and boom, you're good, you got a meal and go.
Right.
It'll also be healthier to sit down too and eat a local restaurant too. Obviously, if you get the right meal, but the point of the matter is like this is going to be a difficult decision. You might have to take your car somewhere else. You might have to find a new location. Big deal.
Right.
But it is very important to do that because these are the ones that are somehow still around after all the COVID fiasco and whatnot. I mean, these ones that are around, I mean, they're warriors.
Oh yeah.
If they went through COVID and all that, they are warriors.
Oh yeah.
To be able to get through all that stuff, and that includes St. Louis County and St. Louis. Like
Absolutely.
people think of Missouri as wide open. No,
it was not. Especially not here in St. Louis County.
Not even close.
Mentioned.
Yeah. And so these guys they need all the support they can get. You know what I mean? And they deserve it too because they pushed through it.
Right.
You know, big businesses got all the subsidies in the world from the government and whatnot. Got paid off by them. They were allowed to stay open, like the Costco's and whatnot. So that doesn't really endear me to go to them.
No.
Not personally, anyways.
And that's not to say that we don't. You know,
right.
We
still, there are some things.
There are times where, you still go to Sam's or Costco, you still go into Walmart, Target, whatever. Now, when we can have the choice of going, like for food, for example, this is a great one. I know you're going to agree with this. Are we going to go to Mulligan's, which is a local restaurant here in Ellisville, Missouri, which is fantastic. If you are here in St. Louis and you've never been to Mulligan's, like you're doing it wrong. Like go to Mulligan's.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is right across the street from a McDonald's, a Popeyes, a Culver's, Chipotle. There's a Cane's right down the road from them. There's a Chick-fil-A right down the road from them. So there's all these fast foods. So you have tons of options, is my point. Going to Mulligan's at any time of the day that they're open, it is freaking packed in there. I mean, it is packed. It's not just Friday night, Saturday night that's crazy in there. It doesn't matter. Like, people go there religiously.
Yep.
Religiously.
You're waiting if you go
there. And you're waiting. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, 30 minutes at least.
Yeah, you're not showing up at 6 o'clock on Friday night and just sitting down.
No, no.
There's a good chance you have an hour and a half wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then throughout COVID, they didn't have their dining room open for a little bit, but they still did all the carry out. And we got all the time. Now, granted, my sister works there, but it was very quickly they opened back up. Opened back up, and it was just as packed right away.
Yep.
As much shit as we talk on Larry's, same thing. They stayed open. They're in St. Louis County, just like Mulligan's is.
Yep.
They stayed open, and we were there quite a bit during this time. Not
Dude,
that
we were actually. Oh my gosh.
Not that we were just like bar junkies or anything like that, but for whatever reason, we would always find our way back to Larry's, which.
Well, you were, but I wasn't, of course. I don't drink, so.
Looking back on it, just sucked. But My point is they stayed open.
Yeah.
People supported them. It was always jam packed in there. Like that's
They
the local
went
bar.
through like a hard time with like an event, like something that
Yes.
happened there too. Which,
Yeah, well,
like,
yeah.
So that's even more impressive
Yes.
to get through that and whatnot too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and even where that Larry's is, there's a town center that's just, it was always still buzzing. You know, and there's been changeover with restaurants and stuff in there, and that's a whole separate conversation just because it's expensive to rent space up there.
Sure.
But like there was still plenty going on throughout the town center, throughout all of COVID and you know whatever else, and people support that space up there. You know, and there's a Deerberg's up there. It's a local grocery store here. You know, and I'm up there all the time, and so the people at the deli counter, like they know me. You know, a lot of the people at the checkout lines, they know me, you know, which is, it's to your point, you know, they know you, they get to know you, the relationships are built, and that's what's important. You know, I'd rather go there to get the groceries instead of to Walmart, where it's just another person coming to Walmart. You know what I mean?
And Deerberg's might be slightly more.
It
You know?
is.
I mean,
There's no doubt.
it's great quality stuff.
Yeah,
Oh
especially
my gosh.
especially from the deli counter or the butcher. Like, dude, the meat there is fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Which is also part of the reason we go there. It's higher quality stuff that we're eating.
Yep.
You know, and you get the personal touch of the person behind the counter that knows you.
Right. And again, you and I aren't coming and saying like we're not coming from a place of we're wealthy.
No.
You know, like not even close.
No.
You know, and not to mention we both work for small businesses.
Yeah,
Whether
absolutely.
it's Health Source and Personal Space with me, or whether it's Legacy with you.
Absolutely.
So we both work with small businesses as well in the
Yes.
fitness industry, and we've both seen how it works a lot better to
Yeah.
work for small businesses too.
Absolutely.
Also, so not even from the consumer standpoint, from the employee standpoint.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, now and again, there's always going to be caveats to this. There are, of course, small businesses that have scummy owners that they're not growing because
Yeah.
the owner's a scumbag. Like,
Right.
of
Just
course,
pocketing all the money. Of
right?
course.
No doubt. That I would imagine that is a real thing because humans have an evil side to them. There's
Yes.
just no doubt about that. There's evil in the world, but almost everybody I've talked to that works for a smaller, whether it's smaller company like 500 or less, or 1,000 or less, or whatever it is, not a corporation type of style of company, they always show a higher satisfaction of work
Absolutely.
at those companies.
Absolutely.
And you and I can attest to that and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Mitchell actually can attest to it too. His company's not large by any means either.
Well,
So
and the cool part of that as well from the employee perspective is, especially if it's a newer small business, I don't know how long Personal Space and Health Source have been around, but like at least with Legacy with me, like I've been there basically since the very beginning. So you get to grow with it, which is also a very cool thing to be a part of. You know, the people at S2 and First Form talk about that all the time. They know that they're a part of a greater mission, you know, and they're a part of the growth of those companies and the impact that those types of companies can make. You know, they're further along the road than a Legacy, and obviously in different spaces, but still similar, you know. And so when you know you're a part of something that's building, like that's also a really cool thing. You're not going to get that at Walmart.
no,
Walmart's built.
no, yeah, you're not
You
going
know,
to get that.
and I also have an understanding as far as kids go, like your first job might be at Walmart.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's just easier because they have a higher volume of
Yeah,
employees.
exactly.
And whatnot. Yeah,
exactly. You're going to get some experience. You're going to get some paychecks, things like that. You're going to make a little bit of money, and that's fantastic. I have nothing against that. You know, I was at a movie theater for a long time.
And it's a big chain. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Now, I will say it's not the AMC where, you know, people that come in to see movies don't know the employees don't know. Like, we knew a lot of the people that came in to
is
B&B,
cool. Yeah.
which was awesome. Now, granted, we made an effort to do that, but to give that personal touch to their experience, you know, so much so that, like for me anyway, when I was managing there were people that would not come to movies on any other days because they knew when I was working. Like, that's cool. You know,
It's very
that
cool.
means
Yeah.
I'm doing something right. That means we have a real relationship where they're looking for Jacob, you know, and like, okay, maybe I'm the one to put their freaking popcorn in the bag, but the conversation that comes with it, that's what they want to see. That's what they want to have, you know. For some of them, it was older people that would come in by themselves. That might be the only conversation they have that day, you know. So there's a impact there, even at a movie theater, you know, which is cool, very very cool.
And it's underrated. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I actually want to hear from Mitch too about, because he obviously works from home. So it's a little bit of a different scenario, Mitch, for you. And it's also in tech. And a lot of people think of tech as, very elitist in a certain way or in a different environment. So I want to hear what you have to say, because I know you love your company.
Are you you're an elitist?
Yes. Over you. specifically.
Just over Wurtz.
It's called employee buy-in is what you guys are referring to. I was actually at our local S2 talking to the individual who runs that store, and he's been there at S2 as a company for 6 years. And it's amazing what progress he's seen over a relatively short time frame, quote unquote, from the Manchester store. Just got renovated, and that's a massive, massive change. And he has people under him who he's training up to fill roles within the company as well. And I'm experiencing that with inside my company. I can take something and run with it, and that just lets you buy in and actually turn it into a passion and something you want to do.
Yeah, right.
And you have to do that. That's not unique to any industry. So
it's actually taking pride in your work, because that makes you want to show up.
Absolutely.
Too. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. We even talked with our uncle about this too, because he had felt like some electrical guys that had worked on our condo and whatnot had not taken as much pride in their work as they should have, because they had to keep coming back to fix certain things and whatnot, that type of stuff. And I had seen that, because I worked in like what would be considered a blue collar in quotation space for like 5 or 6 months or whatnot. And, there is an aspect of like where I saw it, not only in fitness industry, blue collar, whatever it is, where a lot of people are having a hard time taking pride in their work. It's just like, okay, I show up for a paycheck and whatnot, which is why we encourage the small business aspect, because a small business makes you want to show up for more than just a paycheck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because elsewhere, and this is actually a point for our big business when we get to that, but at those other big places, you're just a number.
Yeah.
And when you feel like you're just a number, you aren't going to get these things that we're all talking about.
Yeah.
You punch in, you do your 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of work, and then you punch out, and then you go home and you do it again the next day. And there's no mission that you're chasing. There's no buy-in like you just talked about, Mitch. There's no impact that you feel you're making, and like I feel bad for you if that is you. I do understand like there is a purpose to that, but if you're that unhappy and you're consistently that unhappy, like go try to find a small business or a local business to work for.
Right.
Then you get to know the people in your community. People might search you out when you're working, things like that. Like I just described at the theater. It's all these different things that could come with it. Your paychecks may be a little less if it's a small business, but you're going to feel better about what you're doing. You might have to work some extra hours that maybe you don't get paid for. I have to do that sometimes. Do I love that? No, not necessarily. However, I know what I'm doing. I know why I'm doing it. And I can see the reason behind why I'm being asked to do a certain thing.
Yeah.
It might be inconvenient at times to go have to show up for another, an extra hour or 2 hours or whatever, but I believe in the place. I can see where we want to take it. I can see where our owners want to take it. And it's like, hell yeah, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that. In the moment, I might be frustrated, but long-term or looking back on it, it's like, you know what? One, okay, it wasn't that bad. I wasn't going to spend that hour doing anything else, that it wasn't preventing me from doing something potentially.
Yep.
And number two, it's like, you know what? If that wasn't done, then maybe down the road, a year later, we're not here.
Yeah,
so there's positives to it.
100%. So what's, because I kind of had a thought process here a little bit, but one of the pathways I thought about when you were chatting about it and whatnot was big tissue guy. Yeah, we're back to the tissues again.
We're back to the tissues.
Sponsored by Puffs, right? But thanks, Mitch. Really needed that behind the camera there. A little bit of distraction from the producer.
Just go.
I had to address that, otherwise I would have broke out laughing and not been able to finish what I was saying here at all. Oh gosh. But the thing is too, is that I tying this back to like, our roots here at Untapped with health. Such a big thing. It's what you were talking about. You were saying, okay, like find a local and small business to work for. You were saying, okay, you might get paid less and whatnot. But here's the thing about that too. Like let's say you're even like in a field like a lawyer, because you think of like lawyers as a corporate field, that type of thing.
Right.
But even here in St. Louis, we have companies like Brown and Crouppen. That's local. That's right in the hill again too.
Absolutely.
So you can work for something like that too, which I would imagine still pays good money because
what's their commercial? For Missouri, dial all 3s. For Illinois, dial all 8s.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
Yeah. And so funny enough, Personal Space works with them directly.
Gotcha.
Like it's a big deal with that.
Personal Space has a lot of lawsuits going on.
Yeah, I mean we fraudulently. I mean we
we
screw over clients all the time. So we have to make sure we have retainer lawyers. Yeah.
Okay.
Not true. Not true. But the big thing I was getting to there is that the forgotten about fact about working for a company that you love to work for, that's small, medium, local, again, not corporation type style or ran like a corporation type style, that you love to come to work for, you buy in. The forgotten fact is that your stress levels are also going to be lower.
Yeah.
And that's massive.
Yeah.
I mean, again, working for Health Source as a chiropractic office, it's like I see all the time that people's ailments or injuries, whatever you want to call them, are enhanced and made worse by their stress levels.
I mean, Wyatt talked about that when we had him on.
Exactly.
You know?
And his episode, by the way, 108, phenomenal episode too. But he talked about it because it's damn near one of the number one things we see. I mean, people are just, their jobs are most of the time the things that are making it worse a lot of the times if they're in not a field they're enjoying and whatnot.
Right.
You know, the ones that love their jobs, it's so much easier to help them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it really is. So I don't want that to be kind of flown over about this too, because not even as a customer, it's the same thing. Like that relationship aspect will also help drop your stress levels as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could do a whole episode on stress and how different ways to regulate it and keep it controlled and use it in a good way. But I mean, your job is, for most people, a majority of their day.
Yeah.
And a majority of their week.
Oh, yeah.
So it's obviously going to be the one that either causes you bad stress, too much stress, or it pushes you, gives you good stress in the right direction. So why not work for a company that really even loves and cares about you too?
Right.
So
right. And that, I mean, honestly, that covered our second point of the small businesses, just caring about their employees. You know, they either follow the correct laws or say no to the incorrect laws, you know, i.e. COVID.
Yep.
And again, we'll touch on that a little bit later. And then, you know, for the most part, and you mentioned this earlier, more so talking about the employee aspect, but for the most part, they're not going to be doing sketchy things and fleecing their customers and trying to make an extra buck. They're just thankful to make a buck, you know, and things like that. Again, are there going to be your bad apples? Sure. Are there going to be, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? You mentioned electrician earlier, contractor. Are there going to be contractors that, you know, purposely don't do a very good job so that you call them again?
Or they use the cheaper materials.
Or they use the cheaper materials and things like that. Yes. That's why word of mouth for especially contracted work, whether it's on your house or outside of your house or whatever, like that's why word of mouth is so important.
Right.
You know, does someone you know or do multiple people that you know, did they have a good experience with this company or this person? If they did, then by all means, that's the person you should call.
Yep.
You know, but if someone says, he didn't really do a great job. He said it would only take 2 days. It took him 2 weeks. You know, there were times where he didn't get much done throughout the day or whatever. Okay, well, if you still choose to give your money to that person, like, what are we doing here? You're going to have a bad experience.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, understanding also where you're putting your money. Not only should you look to the local or the small businesses, but also make sure you're doing your homework on those things, you know?
Well, that's the beauty about Google reviews and Yelp reviews too. You know?
Sure.
That's an easy way to do it now.
You know, if we consistently, when we first started getting into supplements and things like that, if we consistently had bad experiences at S2, would we continue to, one, support them or talk about them as much as we do? No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
If First Form made bad products or had bad customer service or didn't do the right thing in certain situations, you know, making things right, if an order got screwed up or something like that is what I mean. Would we talk about them, support them? No. Go to their events? No. Be willing to be a part of their company in the different ways that you and I have been, and very thankfully we have been.
Thankfully involved with them,
and continue to be able to. It's awesome. But will we do those things? No, absolutely not. Would we go shop at GNC? Probably not.
Yeah.
Tough one.
Yeah, that's one I'd go and order from online somewhere, some other company. And
Right.
But I wouldn't be going into a store.
No, definitely not.
I just can't. The 2 or 3 experiences I've had when I grew up,
And truth be told, I've never stepped foot in a GNC because you've said that.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I literally told you that.
I've had other people as well say the exact same things. And it's like, okay, well then I'm not even going to give them the opportunity, you know? And again, that goes back to the power of word of mouth.
Right.
You know, and so that's kind of everything as far as the small business goes. And we've actually already kind of covered some of the big business issues. And these first couple points, we'll just get the caveat out of the way. We are not blanket statement covering all big businesses, all big corporations by the next couple things that we're about to cover. First being bad customer service. Okay. Are you always going to get bad customer service at a big chain? No. But are you more likely to at a place like that than a small business? Yes. Yes, without a doubt.
Restaurants are the easiest way to measure that.
Restaurants are the easiest ways. Even the big Costco's and Sam's and Walmarts and things like that. Like, those people don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, Costco's one I will say that they do a better job.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
whenever Mitch and I go there, like they do a better job.
Yeah.
Costco does a better job in Chick-fil-A, but that's those two.
Chick-fil-A is a great example of a huge company with great customer service.
Again, they pass down your values.
100%.
Because we're not sitting here saying that a company can't get to the point of a big business.
No, definitely not.
It's just that it needs to maintain those values.
Yeah,
across
absolutely.
the board. You know,
Absolutely.
for us to actually like want to support and believe in it. But again, there's a reason we're bringing this up because it's rare.
Yeah.
We've seen it be very rare.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Again, maybe it's just the Costco we're at, but they do a pretty good job when it comes to like we buy in bulk there and whatnot, that type of stuff. Like
It's typically what you do at a Costco.
yeah, it's at a wholesale place.
Kind of impossible to not buy.
Dumbass. Yeah. Gosh.
You can't go in there and just get one candy bar. You gotta get the whole box.
Like you and Mitch said, we need to have applications for podcast equipment.
Yep.
It's mainly for
It needs to
me.
be more expensive. We actually just go there to eat 15 hot dogs and then we leave.
Hey, there you go.
You mean the chicken bake?
I prefer eating 15 glizzies, but I don't know about you.
Gosh, calling them glissies is too much for me every time.
Hey, I mean, it's only what, $1.50? I mean, that's a pretty good deal for
it's
Love that.
easy
a
money.
dog. I mean,
Yeah.
come on now.
And for you single guys out there, this is how I got my girlfriend. I flexed my Costco membership on her.
Shows you're a mature adult. I mean, if you have a Costco membership.
Holly's gonna hate me for that.
Is that the first mention of Holly on a podcast?
I think so.
Is the word out?
Yeah, because I kind of like said it last episode, or episode 126, I think.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of said a girlfriend. I didn't say her name on it.
Wow.
So, yeah, big drop.
Holly's official.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's making it on the podcast, so that's a big deal.
Hell yeah.
It's a pretty big deal.
Hell yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
It's good shit right there.
But yeah, it was a Costco membership. That's what drew her in.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Big time.
She's like, oh, he must be employed. Okay, cool.
He pays bills.
That was good.
Yeah,
That was
I pay my bills. I go to Costco. No big deal. Yeah. Summit Light. Cheaper gas. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you
That's
know,
right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a big deal.
I'm financially sound. NBD.
Oh my gosh.
Just don't look at our supplement bills. Just don't.
Oh no.
Don't do that.
No.
You want to go on a date this month? Gotta buy my protein.
It's almost a
Sorry.
good thing when I can't make it S2 because I'm like, oh man, I saved some money today.
I know. It's like, oh, I just need vitamins. Walk out with 3 bags worth of stuff. It's just like, come on, dude.
What are we doing?
It's just and a smoothie. It's just like, okay, well, see you guys next week.
That's a definition of good customer service, making you buy other stuff too and whatnot.
Right.
Oh
right.
my gosh.
Granted, they do know us well enough where they're not trying to just sell
No,
us other
no,
things, which is fantastic.
Yeah. They don't shove it down people's throat, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But no, so what we were talking about, I mean, with Costco and Chick-fil-A, again, like those are outliers that we're talking about here.
For sure.
And again, I'm sure we're forgetting a big business that has good customer
Yeah.
service. I would say probably Apple maybe does.
Actually, that's a good one. Yeah.
But again, like the point we're getting at here is that there's a lapse, especially like you go to a, not local fast food restaurant, but you go to a just chain fast food restaurant, it's highly unlikely you're going to get consistent service. You might get good at one location, but then you might go down the street, 5 miles down the street and another one down there, and it might be 20 times worse.
Right. Like, when's the last time you had a glorious experience at McDonald's? You know what I mean? Like
Other than you and I, last time we went there like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Did we have a good experience?
No, probably not. Yeah, I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, I don't remember. But
I mean, we gobbled some burgers. But that's about all I know.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
But it's just like your point is 100% spot on. You know, think about any fast food place, and again, like I said earlier, I understand that fast food places were made for first jobs, not made for careers. You know, if you're working through, you know, corporate and things like that, okay,
trying to go up to manager or whatever.
Fine.
Yeah.
Like,
and again, take pride in your work if you're working up to a manager too. Yeah.
For sure. No
I know
doubt.
Taco Bell managers were actually getting paid like heavy, like pretty high money for
There
a
you
while.
go. There you go.
But again, if they're going to get paid high money, like the service needs to be good.
Yes,
You know, like
exactly.
The store needs to be clean.
Yes.
You know, and those standards aren't exactly consistent across the board.
I will say, and again, maybe this is just ours, but like a Home Depot, like they've got really good customer service.
Yeah.
You know, and they kind of have to because like if I need to know where the specific type of bolt is, like you got to be able to help me with that.
Yeah, I would say Home Depot and Lowe's, they kind of have to hire semi-intelligent people.
Yeah, like
you know?
handy people and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, if I say, hey, I need a 5/14 bolt here, like you got to be able to go nail it.
Yeah.
You know, no pun intended there.
But again, you and I would go on the same track and, you know, say try to find a local hardware store if there is one
for
near
sure.
you.
For sure.
If there is one.
Yeah.
Because one, like they're going to have that relationship and that business with you anyways,
Right.
better. But,
Right.
you know, like if that's the only hardware store in your town, you're probably going to be okay with the Home Depot and Lowe's and whatnot.
Sure.
And that's why we wanted to add the caveat anyways of,
Yeah.
you know, not all big business is just a failure. And, you know, because they wouldn't be at the spot they're at if everything was horrible about them.
Home
obviously.
Depot also allows dogs in there, which is pretty
Yeah, that's a huge plus.
Yeah, I can't bring Sadie in there though. She would go
She would
bananas.
lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be insane. She's such a crackhead.
She is. She is. Goodness. She's nuts. Next one, we also covered this. Employees are just numbers. Again, that's not always. That's not always.
Yep.
You know, it would appear that at any Chick-fil-A restaurant, like those employees are valued. You know, that's what it appears like anyway. You know, when you go to a well, I'll just say it again, like a Home Depot. And the only reason I'm going back to that is because at least for ours, there's been a lot of the same workers there as long as I can remember. Like honestly, as long as I can remember. There's not all of them the same, but there are still several people that have been there a very, very long time. That tells me they feel valued. You know, that tells me they enjoy what they do. You know, is every day great? I'm sure it's not, you know. But if you are seeing the same people and over and over and over again, like that's a good thing. That's a good thing, especially at a big business. It's a very good thing.
Yeah.
You know, if I walk into any Walmart and then I go to that same one a week later, there's a good chance I see a completely different set of workers. You know, they probably don't feel very valued. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No doubt. And the thing is too is
I say the following week. I meant to say the following year because like week to week doesn't make sense for that. But I meant to say the following year because I said years for Home Depot. Anyway.
Yeah. But, you know, so I think this is actually an important point about when it comes to employees are just a number. You know, you think of, okay, clock in, clock out, and you're out. You know, no doubt. But the biggest thing that I notice feeling as a number when I've worked for different corporations, whether it's amusement parks, whatever, or whether it's been more corporate fitness companies and whatnot, you don't really see a mission, if that makes sense. You don't see a direction forward in your career a lot of the times. And that is probably the negative that you think about in corporations and big business.
Right.
Is you think of, you know, okay, I'm at this job, but I don't even see where I'm going to go from here. I don't even see what benefit I'm going to get from here at this point in time. I don't see how I'm going to move up the ladder.
I wonder if that's because it feels like the mission's already been accomplished in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To a certain degree. And that again comes down to leadership.
Right.
And you know, you have to continue to have an ongoing mission of like, hey, each one of you is here to make people healthy, for example, in a big fitness corporation and whatnot.
Sure.
You know, and pass that down so you can see each person seeing the result they're having at their job.
Right.
You know, the result of helping, like, you know, let's say a 300-pound guy loses 50 pounds or whatnot. The whole team should be aware of that.
100%.
The whole team should be aware of that because that builds buy-in right there. You know, and again, give them career paths so they can climb up, that type of thing. But you see it less in big business a lot of times, and it's hard to see why am I here? Why am I showing up to do this?
Yeah,
and maybe that's a newer thing when it comes to our generation. Andy's even mentioned this on his podcast. He thinks guys in general, employees under 30, they want to buy into the mission of the company more than the previous generations before that. And again, I would say that's probably true. I mean, most of the guys that we meet our age and whatnot would agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
But, and a lot of the times you think of the 60s, 70s, 50s, whatever, like that men just went to work, showed up, got it done, then came back home.
Right.
And the wife had a beautiful home waiting for him and blah, 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 that type of stuff.
Right.
And it was very basic. We want to see more than that to a certain degree. I would say as a collective in general. And I think that's important because that you don't feel like a number if you actually have a mission to buy into.
For sure.
If you have someone to believe in the company, I mean, you're going to want to show up to work.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be like, wow, like even my assistant manager, the fitness manager above me, the main manager, like they all care about me.
Yeah.
And again, like I was always close with the managers at those locations as well. The biggest thing was always, you'd go into a meeting and whatnot, and it was just kind of corny corporate lingo and whatnot. And you'd be sitting there like, okay, this kind of like takes my focus off the mission. Because anytime we'd have like a separate meeting, it was just like the trainers or whatever, it was great.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like I'm working for some cool people here.
Right.
Like we're actually all trying to help people get better and all that type of stuff. But then you'd hear the lingo and you're like, is this the same mission that we're on right here?
Right.
And you kind of get left in this limbo in a certain direction. So I think that's probably my end to that point anyways.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on there. I really, really do. The mission is the most important thing. It's the most important thing, and that's how you get people to not only stick around, but also get people that are excited to work for you, excited to interview and apply and want to be a part of that because they've heard about how great it is from their friends or whatever, or customers as well. Or maybe you were a customer. You're like, man, like I would love to work for that company. That's how S2 gets their employees for the most part. They really won't hire you unless you were a customer at one point, because you had such a great experience that you want to be a part of that and give that to someone else. You know
what you're there for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Final point. I should have brought my conspiracy glasses because it's been a long time since we've had to wear them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I have mine. If you need
I know. I see that.
Yeah, if you need the backup,
because we might dive into that a little bit here. But the final thing with the big businesses, and the most recent example of this would be COVID, but they follow whatever the government says. Whatever the government says, because a lot of their money and a lot of their power, I guess, in a way, is backed by the government. Whether that's big media, because that would be included in this, the big box stores, the big chains, the big fast food restaurants, things like that, they're all backed by the government. So if the government says, hey, you got to wear masks, your customers must wear masks, things like that, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. If the government says your customers have to be vaccinated, your employees have to be vaccinated, they have to show proof of the vaccination.
Or we'll fine you $700,000 or whatever a day.
Or we'll fine you $700,000 per employee.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, they're going to do it. They're going to force that. Is that really where you want to spend your money?
Exactly. Yeah.
Company that can't think for itself?
And again, these are the ones that were subsidized by the government during COVID.
Exactly.
They were the ones that were kept open, given money and whatnot. They talked. Excuse me.
Notice how you could continue to shop at Walmart in 2020 and 21 and 22, but you couldn't go to the local grocery store.
100%.
Interesting.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a big noticing for us early on. First like 3-4 weeks or whatever it was.
Right.
We were like, why haven't they shut down?
Right.
It's like, wait, I thought it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve or whatever.
Right.
That BS. And the subsidies they got, they talked about small business, PPP loans or whatever that were coming out at the time and whatnot. From what we understand, essentially none of those got to small businesses.
You're right.
Or damn near
Right.
none of them got to small
And
businesses.
I know the number of small businesses that closed during that time period is like an insanely high number.
Oh, it was into the millions.
Yeah.
It was like, and it was within a year into the COVID fiasco, it was already at, I think, 900,000 plus across the country or something like that.
And most of those will never come back.
No.
Or have never.
Absolutely not. I mean,
know what I mean?
you get fried and put into bankruptcy like that. I mean, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And again, these companies got to stay open because of subsidies and whatnot.
Right. And I know you had some number. I don't know if it applies now.
Well,
but
it is definitely useful because here's the thing. If we're talking about losing 900,000 small businesses within a year during COVID, again, small businesses, it says here, employed 61.7 million Americans as of March 2023. That's 46.4% of the private sector workforce.
Wow. So almost half.
Almost half.
Yeah.
So that's losing a large chunk. Large chunk there of workforce. And then those people have to then get subsidized by the government because they're on unemployment or whatever it is. Not to mention, small business owners are also a big part of the middle class.
Yeah.
So if they get taken out, our middle class goes out. And again, everybody loves to talk about wealth disparity, but both Democrats and Republicans were ones that sent money only to big businesses and whatnot. So both them were in favor of wealth disparity, obviously, rich and poor, and that's it.
Yes.
And again, it makes sense why the Democrats are because, the more poor people, they're the ones that are more likely to vote for them because Democrats give out free money.
Or illegals without IDs.
Well, that too. Yeah, that's always great. But and again, like I said, the Republicans were complete cowards during this entire thing.
Just like they have with Ukraine now. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, or Israel. I mean, all of them just love Israel. And then you'll check their AIPAC funding and whatnot, and it's like this random senator in Utah was like $400,000 from AIPAC.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, you're bought.
Yeah,
nice.
exactly.
Sweet. Because your paycheck's only, $175 a year?
Yeah, it's not in the millions like most of these people. Their wealth.
Yeah, their staffers are getting paid probably $2 more and whatnot. All of it. Yeah. All of it. And again, this all goes into the big business thing because they're all in cahoots with each other.
Oh yeah.
They're all enjoying each other. Again, the big businesses are the ones that are going to lobby the most too. So they're going to get their legislation passed the most because they're going to send the money to the right places. They're going to be like, hey, do this. We'll toss a couple $100,000 your way.
Right.
Why not?
A couple $100 million sometimes.
Yeah,
in some cases too.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we should try to work for like a senator and just like infiltrate the government and see what's really going on.
Preferably Pelosi, because she is filthy rich off of trades.
You take her.
Yeah.
I'll either take Schumer or Kamala.
You don't want to be around Schumer or Kamala for that matter. Yeah.
I might develop a cackling laugh like her.
I think you would stink. I don't know. She just looks like she stinks. Yeah, like no doubt.
Biden does because he shits his pants. We know that.
Let's just say that is like for sure true, which I think it definitely is. Who's helping him?
Who's cleaning him
Who's
up?
cleaning him, bro?
Jill? Is it Jill?
That's what I'm saying. Or is it Secret Service agents? You know what I mean? Like these guys suited up for Kit to go fight for their country and to be this deadly warrior, and they're wiping this guy's ass.
Oh my gosh.
Joe, you're on diaper duty today.
It's like, no, come on, dude. No,
not me. Dude, I had it yesterday. Please. No, I had it yesterday, please. I mean, he dribbled it down his leg.
Oh.
What are you going to say, Mitchell?
I'm just blown away by this. First off, hey, how about we talk about the largest corporation in the United States?
Which one, BlackRock?
No, by employees. The largest corporation in the United States by employees is Walmart, about 2 million-ish employees. There's an entity a lot bigger than 2 million employees. Who is it?
I know where he's going with this.
The U.S. federal government, 12 million employees.
It's 12 million, yeah. That was the last count. Yeah, so
it's a little bit bigger than the largest U.S. corporation by employees.
Right.
Just by a couple of factors.
This is where it's taken us, though. Again, we're talking about big business. Who is the big business we need to be talking about?
Right.
Because like Mitchell's saying, I mean, again, 10 million more than the private sector,
right?
Private in quotations with Walmart. Moke's letting it rip. Let's go. Hopefully he doesn't pop up on the mics. But 12 million, that would seem to be a business and a policy influencing business.
Oh, I'd say
the bureaucracy. This
I'd say
is the bureaucracy. This is not counting like Congress or something like that.
Right.
This is not counting elected officials. This is the bureaucracy, unelected officials
Right.
that have been brought in by whatever administration or
You're talking the 3-letter agencies.
correct.
Exactly.
Correct. Yeah. The CIAs, the NSAs, the ATFs, the FBIs. What else am I forgetting? Homeland Security, HSA. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Really quality organizations there.
all organizations that need to be abolished, but it's not the point,
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like that's employees indicates that they are like, this is a company. Like
Right.
that's the idea of this.
I mean,
And I can tell you right now, the founding fathers would have a heart attack if they saw that the government was 12 million employees
Oh, yeah.
strong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or just in general, what is going on right now?
Yeah, in general, 100%. They would be like, what the hell is going on right now?
Right.
Yeah, what did we do? What did we leave? You know?
Right.
I mean, they would be appalled at seeing that because never did we plan to have a government this big and this tyrannical. Right. I mean, it's the biggest organization ever. And again, like we want to talk about big business. The real thing we need to address is the federal government.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt about it.
As we've talked about a million times.
As we've talked about a million times. Yeah. And again, like it can be as simple as you guys speaking up and talking about this like we are.
And choosing where to spend your money, too. I mean,
Exactly.
it all ties
goes
back into
back.
what we're talking about here, you know? And obviously, this is an election year for the U.S., and one election is not going to change all this.
No.
Can it get us going the correct direction?
Right.
Sure. But is it going to just fix all that? Is Trump going to fix everything? No.
There are some
absolutely
people.
not.
There are some people that think he's going to be like the savior. It's
I
like,
know.
No, he's
I know.
not, bro.
Right.
No.
Right. Could he do good? Sure.
Yeah.
Could.
There's more money in my pocket with him.
He also already had 4 years, and there were a lot of things that didn't get done.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't drain the swamp.
Yeah.
The swamp includes all these 3-letter agencies. It doesn't just include senators and representatives and judges and things like that. Is that a part of it? Yes. But the swamp is much larger than Washington, D.C. It's much larger than that.
Absolutely.
And the further you get out, the murkier it gets. Mm-hmm. You know, and there's all kinds of creatures in there, too.
Wow.
All kinds of them.
As we discussed. Yeah.
There's creatures everywhere right now in the U.S.
Yeah, I was gonna say
14
well,
different types of hair
that's
color.
the problem is like if we're talking like one of the most insufferable parts of the population that like speak on, you know, when it comes to politics in general, is the ones who are like 250 plus, 270 plus, 300 pound plus people.
Keep
yeah,
going.
I just climbed up the ladder, 350, 400.
The Al Weezy types.
Al Weezy types, yeah. But I'm speaking about and I'm speaking about the Republican ones of those who say that
like the Chris Christies.
Dude, I'm gonna it's not a big deal. I'm gonna take out the government. It's like,
Oh, you mean citizens?
yeah, I mean citizens. It's like, bro, strap on a weight vest and get on a treadmill. Like, like you aren't helping us with any revolution or anything like that, or whatever you have planned,
Right.
or whatever. Like, stop talking about it, because then those guys will be like, Trump's gonna save us. Trump's like Jesus, and it's like, what? Bro,
Let's go, Brandon. Like, okay,
you're not
congratulations,
helping
dude.
this
Yeah.
scenario here, bro.
Right.
Like,
Right.
get fit, get healthy, understand where the priorities lie. Like, stop just believing every Republican talking point.
Right.
Same way too.
Yes.
You know, again, because
Absolutely.
dude, we rip on the left and Democrats all the time, all the time. Like
They make it easy.
it's very easy. Yeah, it's very very easy. Like everybody that's like that votes that way. It's like, I mean, that makes sense. You know, like, oh yeah, I'm sure you don't want to work and you want the government to pay everything.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
But those ones who claim to be Republican need to start recognizing it ain't just going to be Trump.
No.
You know, it's not going to be Ed out in the middle of rural Missouri and whatnot that comes in with his ballistic vest on that can't even fit around his gut, because and then he runs for
His gut might be a better ballistic vest. Might just absorb the bullets.
That's called built-in level 4, baby.
yeah, bro. If you're gonna
Reactive armor.
yeah, Mitchell and I have talked about this like in private too before, but it's like, if you're going to be a believer in the Second Amendment, you need to be fit.
Yeah.
Like it's not even acceptable. I don't even want to hear you talk about firearms until you're fit.
Yes.
You can't stand in front of me and talk about firearms until you literally have an 8-pack. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Once you're physically fit, then sure. Yeah. But I'm not going to go clear a house with you, bro, if you're 300 pounds.
No.
Like, sorry. Like, you're not on the team. Sit on the bench, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
unless you look like Will.
And again, like,
then you're fine.
Yeah, I think it's Will that's a 260-pound person, then everybody else is 260 doesn't look like that.
No.
At all.
No.
Not
at all.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, guys, that is episode 127, Big versus Small Business. Go shop local. It's as simple as that. Go shop local. At the end of all of our non-guest episodes, and when we have him, Money Mitch will ask us a Q&A question that is submitted by you guys, the viewers or listeners. And we have a few different ways that we want those submitted. So first, you can DM them to us on Instagram at untapped.llp. You can also DM them to us individually. You can also text them to us individually if you've got our numbers. You can email them to us. Our email is extricationfitness@gmail.com. I know it's a mouthful. We made it easy. There's an email button on our Instagram, and I believe the email is also on our Facebook. You can also leave them in the comments of either our YouTube videos or our Instagram posts. We've been much more active on YouTube, getting YouTube exclusive videos out. We will get back to vlogging here soon as well. All of the podcast episodes are also on YouTube. And then each week on Instagram, we post clips from the podcast episodes that we just feel are good hits and things that would get you guys interested in listening to the entire episode. So anyway, you can leave them in the comments on either of those things as well. We get all the questions. We give them to Money Mitch. He then picks one that applies to the episode or the topic of the episode. Sometimes they're also just funny questions or just questions you have. Mm-hmm. And then every once in a while, Money Mitch, because he's a relatively smart elitist, he will come up with a question, just ask us that way as well. So, Money Mitch, it's been a few weeks, but do your thing, dude.
So you can define small businesses versus like large corporations by a lot of monikers, right? You can break it out by employee count or revenue count or whatever, right? Say a small business is considered between 100 and 1,500 employees or under 40 million in revenue or whatever it is. And there's actual standards out there that define that. What is a point where a small business begins to feel not like a small business anymore? You guys kind of see where I'm going with this. Well, like you work at a company of a Deerbergs that has 300 employees. Still technically small, but you could feel like you're just a cog in the wheel. Mm-hmm. What does that look like? Is there a point where you don't feel like you're part of the mission anymore? Kind of, what does that look like in a company?
Yeah. I mean, I think it initially anyway, I think it goes to the mission, keeping the mission alive. Mm-hmm. If as the company grows, the meetings you have, like you were mentioning it, and I'm pretty sure I know exactly what job you're talking about. We don't have to mention the company, but because I know a lot of our listeners go there. Mm-hmm.
Great facility.
When those meetings start to become very corporate driven and corporate lingo driven, and there's no team aspect, there's no we're a family, we're heading in the same direction together, things like that. Like as soon as those things start to go out the door, like that's a good indicator of like, well, where is this company actually headed? 5 years ago we were trying to get to this point. So is this the finish line? Like, are we just existing?
Yeah, it could still technically be a small business by all external factors. Right. You still have a very little amount of employees, blah, 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 et cetera, like that. But it doesn't feel...
Exactly. To whereas, on the flip side of that, I'll go back to a company we talk about all the time, First Form. Okay? First Form has grown like crazy over the last, 2009 is when they started. So, 23 years, First Form's been around. Well, you look at First Form now...
Pause, 23?
Wait.
2009 to 2024? You're good.
You're probably thinking Andy because he's been in business with S2 for 25 years.
Since 1999. I just don't want our listeners to think we're... Oh, wait, we already are. We're already morons.
Yeah. Wow.
You nerfed that word 100%. You were going to say someone else.
Anyway. You look at First Form now. Let's say you drive by it. It's in Fenton, Missouri. You drive by it. They have 3 enormous buildings now. 3 giant warehouse buildings. And it's actually, they're all right next door to an Amazon facility.
That doesn't look like a small business anymore.
Not at all.
It doesn't
Not
look
at all.
like it, yeah.
But one, Andy continues to talk about the mission. He continues to make it known, not only just to the public, but we know a lot of people that work at First Form, a lot of people.
That's the thing. We talk ground level to these people. Like that's how we know the mission's still alive.
Yes. And they talk about how he keeps the mission alive. He and his, management team, or I won't say corporate team, but him and his, higher ups, they keep that mission alive and very well known to their employees. Their employees then can interact with customers and consumers in a way that still indicates the mission is real and that this is a company I can trust. These are people I can trust, things like that. So even as they have grown, because they are now worldwide, they're involved with the St. Louis Cardinals and the St. Louis Blues here in town. Huge signs at the stadiums, advertisements. I mean, they're everywhere. They're everywhere, and they've expanded all across the country, and now they are worldwide as well. That can feel like a giant company very easily.
They just released a collegiate program too.
Yes. Yeah.
Again,
Yeah, the ambassador program.
Further
You said that.
expanding nationwide presence.
Exactly.
How do you still make it feel like a small company, like you're part of the mission?
Right. And because we are so closely involved with both First Form and S2, we know that they will figure out a way to keep that mission alive, keep that small business feel, keep that family feel.
You could have warehouse workers who feel like they're just a cog in the machine, who get completely
just
lost.
packing boxes of protein, but there's still a handwritten note. I actually know a couple guys in the warehouse, guys that I played college baseball with.
Oh, yeah.
They are excited to get there every day. Does that mean every day is easy or is all 8 of your hours going to be fun and things like that? No, not necessarily.
I've heard it's hard work. Yeah.
Yeah, but every single person that works for either one of those companies, they love what they do. They're excited about what they do, and they are excited about the people they work with as well. That's something we actually didn't really mention, but when you're going to work at a small business, you may not necessarily love the people you work with, I guess. So, but you're going to feel part of a family.
There is a way for the manager, the owner, or whatever to make that the case, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Through a hiring process, it's like, are you checking a certain amount of standards, box-wise?
Correct.
You know?
Who are you going to battle with?
Right.
A lot of guys at my company are all veterans, Marine, Army, a lot of guys. And it carries into the culture of the company.
Absolutely. And, you could look at someone's resume and very quickly be able to tell that, okay, in the last 10 years, they worked at one company or maybe 2 companies. This guy did that. Okay. This guy in the last 10 years worked at 8 different companies. Which one are you going to hire to be a part of your family, be a part of your team? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Mitch can tell you that. There's in tech that's pretty common.
I'm sure.
And they might be a great employee at each one, but they'll jump year from year to get a higher paycheck.
Right.
Because their paycheck goes up each time, and that's all they're there for. Right. They'll put in good work and whatnot, but it won't be a culture.
Right.
You won't be a part of a team.
Right.
With that way to do it.
Or that person on the other side of that person says, yeah, that company just sucked to work for. Yeah, that company just sucked to work for.
I know a couple dudes who is like they pretty much a gust of wind hits and then they're changing their life path.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going on to the next career. They're going into insurance. They're going to start a business. They're going into fitness. So that type of stuff. Like they jump ship to ship to ship to ship.
But they're complaining about the companies, and it's like, hey, dude, it might be time to have a pretty real conversation with yourself.
Yeah, you might want to look internal real quick.
Yeah,
for sure. And honestly, this companies can feel corporate or not small pretty quickly. I mean, you could have like a company at another location, and there's just 2 locations, and it still feels like I'm just kind of lost in the machine,
right?
Because maybe the owner, let's say in this style of business, the owner got enough money, he can go down to the Ozarks now,
right?
Like the Ozarks, 3 days a weekend or whatnot,
right.
all the time.
Right.
Because like, okay, I'm making enough now where I can have a nice little house down there, nice little boat down there. Okay, cool. Now I can just dip out for 3 days, and then you don't even have a mission at all. Because the owner is still the guy that's like the leader.
Right.
At that point in time with only 2 locations. So you can quickly feel lost in the machine, lost in the cog real quick.
Right.
Even at a size of like 10 employees or something like that.
Right.
I mean, you might be making enough revenue at that point in time for that to be the case. Yeah. And of course, I think it's important for owners and again, like, Wurtz and I are the sole employees of our business.
Right.
You know, as much as we like to joke, we pay Mitchell, like that's not feasible right now.
Right.
But but the thing is like, I mean, delegating's definitely a dream of ours.
Yeah.
You know, like delegation, passing that down. You know, maybe having a little bit more freedom with our families long term because of that as well. Stuff like that. Like whenever whenever we become fathers, that type of stuff. You know, delegation is like an important thing for business owners, and it's deserved too. If you build that company, you build that up and whatnot. But there's a difference with just like kind of checking out as a business owner. Like I've definitely seen that before in past companies or people I've talked to in their companies and whatnot, where the owner just kind of checks out.
Right.
You know, and it's still important for the owner to have a presence, to still be involved in some way and whatnot. And because I'm not saying that the owner needs to be there 7 days a week and whatnot. Like that's not the point of business. The point of business and entrepreneurship is to find freedom out of it for sure. But again, you can't just ditch your project,
right?
Because your employees are going to real quick feel like they're not a part of anything.
Oh yeah,
you know, and they might just show up because you guys are still doing good revenue and whatnot.
Right.
But okay, they're just showing up,
right?
You know, what does that do? Because then they like we said, they hate their coworkers, they hate who they work with and whatnot,
right?
Because you didn't even try to pass down any of the qualities of the hiring process to the hiring manager that you left in charge. So it's the trickle down process is what it is.
Yeah.
Because you could hypothetically you could work 4 days a week, go down to the lake for 3 days, and still run an effective company.
Absolutely.
And not be checked out. But
yes. There's a point though that you have to get to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least I'd say that from outside looking in on our part.
Yes.
That makes the most sense. Otherwise, you do it with 8 employees, they're gonna feel left out. They're gonna feel that you checked out essentially.
Right.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And again, like if you create the correct culture, the employees will understand you taking vacations, that type of stuff. Of course, like it's
especially if they're in a position to be able to do those things as well.
Right. Setting them up is the big factor here.
Right.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, are you supporting their family as well? That's something else that Andy has talked about. He's just, you know, he's mentioned, and this is something we strive to do as well down the road, but it's you know, he feels the responsibility of supporting that family. You know, he's not just giving a paycheck to that guy or that girl, but they have a house payment, they have a car payment, they have insurance payments, they have whatever else. You know, they have kids' mouths to feed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So and I know he's talked about like that's why he felt weird about his first like big car that he bought. You know, he didn't want to show it to the people that worked for him because he thought that they might feel disrespected.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But it's like in reality, that gives them the motivation to continue to show up every day and work at this company because they can do that too. Mm-hmm. They can get that dream house that they want. Mm-hmm. They can start that family. They can go on that vacation.
Right.
You know, whatever it is.
The ones that feel disrespected are probably the ones you don't want because they don't have really great goals or anything like that too. I mean, that'd be the same thing. Like Chad, my boss at Health Source, has a really nice truck. Like that'd be the same thing as me getting jealous about that.
Yeah, right.
Like, why does Chad have the nice truck? It's like, well, because he runs the business.
Right.
Like he does a ton for our business as of right now. Like especially with it just being him, and then what? I guess we have 4 other employees. Yeah. So like, I'm not gonna sit there and pocket watch this guy either. Like you as an employee shouldn't be sitting there like, oh man, bought a new toy there, Jim, huh? Right. Then talking about the owner, it's like, bro, you should want to strive with that too.
Right.
Like that's the entire point of this. Like, we all want nice things.
Yes. Or like subconsciously thinking like, he bought that new truck, but he's only paying me this much. Like, dude.
It's also not going to help you as an employee either. Like that's not going to be a beneficial mindset to have.
Right.
Because and again, that's why for us it's also easier because we do literally own our own business and whatnot. So it's like we can put ourselves in the owner's shoes that we work for and whatnot. You know, and again, like they're very big blessings to be able to work where we do right now and be able to pay bills and still work on our business
and learn from those people.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. So like that's a big deal. There's no doubt about it.
For sure.
And never like would we sit here and try to be that employee that it's like, man, that new manager's got that new thing, or that the owner's got that new thing and whatnot. It's just, that's like you said, it's not going to be productive.
Right.
All you're going to do is, one, get down on yourself, but also you're going to tell yourself that you just hate money.
Right.
And you hate winning.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like,
right.
I mean, that's not a good mindset to be in at all.
Is that the message you want to convey?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah. At least I'd hope not.
Right. Well, guys, that is officially episode 127. I know you learned something here. I know you were hopefully swayed in one direction over the other. We also understand there are times where you're going to shop at big businesses, you know. What is Mitch wanting over there?
He was like this.
Trying to flex on us. Hey, when that chair stops squeaking, you can talk to us. Anyway, guys, please share the show. Share it to your Instagram stories. Text it around to your friends and family. Talk about us to those you are around. It really helps us grow. The more eyes and ears that we have on us, the more and more we can continue to bring great content to you guys, more episodes, continue to have on great guests like we already have. All of those things help, and all of those things are free. So please share the show, continue the love, continue the support. And guys, until next time, peace and love.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Push forward through the tough times, 'cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. I ain't gonna give up, got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times, 'cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. 'Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings.